I am Sweetie Abochi with today's Joy News Desk. On our desk today, latest Joy News Filth exhibition shows medians on the Medina stretch have been turned into transit points for waste. CSOs in HIV, tuberculosis and malaria want government to clear essential drugs at the ports.
The essence of our intended action, therefore, is to draw the attention of the presidency and parliament to the looming public health emergency.
There's some business updates for you as well. Do stay for details. Now to a very first story. The median roads should ideally be a green space, landscaped with flowers, trees, and beautiful plants. But that is not the case on the Medina Highway. Looking dry and dusty, these medians are now being used as transit spots for waste collectors. On today's Filth exhibition, Hannah Odame tells us what she saw when she drove on that stretch. Take a look.
The Independence Square and the Independence Arch, a reminder of Ghana's freedom from her colonial masters. Right beside it is the piece of land which also serves as a reminder to some unpatriotic citizens of their freedom. Freedom to openly defecate and dump their...
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's the number of heaps of rubbish on display in between the highways on the Medina-Zongo stretch at the La Nkwantanan district in the national capital. Pedestrians call this an eyesore, especially for a city which yearns to be the cleanest in Africa.
It's very abhorrent. They have to charge those who are around too. You are sitting here selling, and after that you go and put garbage here. It's not nice. Those should change their attitude.
Those who make, gather, and dump the rubbish in between the roads say it is the assembly which has not been responsible in collecting the rubbish.
The waste collectors don't come to pick the rubbish, and so this place is always filthy and smelling. The entire stretch is filled with rubbish. Why? This leads to cholera and malaria. Government should pay the collectors so they can do their work. I dare ask, is this the country we say will be the cleanest in Africa soon?
Also contesting are some of the traders who sell along the highway and are being blamed for generating such filth and not dumping them in designated bins.
When we close from work, we collect all the rubbish we make. We always sweep our working areas, especially when we close. And the waste collectors come for the rubbish every morning, but today they are late.
Fed up with the constant spectacle of rubbish littered all over the stretch, this regular user of the road proposes a solution.
You see, the rubbish is not from the Togo people, it's not from Burkina Faso, it's not from Côte d'Ivoire, it's from the Ghanaians. The ordinary man who is walking on the street, you see, you come and pick it today, tomorrow when you come and meet it again. So now what are you going to do? So this one, me, I don't put blame on the Zoom Lion, because the Zoom Lion, now no place. they're supposed to put the dustbins. So they will tell the people, you put it on the middle of the road, so after another day they will come and pick it. So we will talk. Government will go, government will come, government will go, government will come. We are in the same problem.
Frustrated about the regular sight of rubbish, this road user also struggles to recommend to journalists a lasting solution he believes would help keep the city clean.
I don't know. We too, we are the cause, you see, so at least the assembly should at least give us a lot of these bins, rubbish bins, so that if anything we can dump inside, instead of putting it on the ground.
From Medina here in Accra, I am Hannah Wadami for Joy News.
Now, let's give you a recap of some episodes we've done on Filth Exhibition, a Joy News series, after which we have a conversation with some water, sanitation and hygiene analysts.
The Independence Square and the Independence Arch, a reminder of Ghana's freedom from her colonial masters. Right beside it is the piece of land which also serves as a reminder to some unpatriotic citizens of their freedom. Freedom to openly defecate and dump their garbage. It seems the authorities have found the perfect spot for a sit-down protest against waste management, or perhaps it is the city authorities' way of saying, Happy Independence Day, enjoy the sights and smell. Right here, we confronted a man who had just finished defecating on this hallowed ground.
So why were you defecating here?
Through the defecating is that low land, they've been shitting there for a long time. And it was like Bola, the rubbish dump. Some people are shitting in this water. But me, I know that some are using it to wash. I will not do that.
Why were you defecating?
Defecating here, if you are defecating here, those who are living around here, they will not call it to be a crime because it's a low land. And very soon, you will see people who bring this in. It was even deep down. Because of the rubbish dam, you see that it is filling.
Osu Alata, a coastal community in the Greater Accra region. It boasts of a rich scenic beauty. With its close proximity to the Osu Castle, it has long been a magnet for tourists seeking a glimpse into Ghana's rich history. However, within the beauty lies a pressing issue that tarnishes the community's charm. The heap of rubbish, located right in the center of the community, not only mars the landscape, but poses significant challenges to the health of residents and tourism prospects.
To go to the beach side where my house is, you come to the beach, it's the same refuse, but by the time you talk to people, every community, the villagers at the water side, they shit at the water.
Even Ali Mohammed, who was just moved into the neighborhood from Cameroon, is very upset. He wonders why leadership has neglected its responsibility to keep the city clean.
Well, they have Congress people, they have statements, they have people that work for the government that are around here. I think these people should be more responsible. You understand me? They vote them, they vote these people have to go and vote people, that these people should represent them in the parliament. These people should be more responsible. It shouldn't be young people should be calling on their... Everybody, me and you standing right here, that is a spoon, you didn't pick it. You are a Ghanaian, you are standing on Ghanaian soil, you are responsible, you are a human Ghanaian in a human soil, that is a refuse, that is refuse on your left leg. Your responsibility should have picked that, and I should have picked that, and he had picked that, then you didn't find that.
Nestled between Nima and Newtown, with a particular focus on the settlement adjacent to the residence of President Akufo-Addo, human dignity collides with desperation. This is the Aladuna community, where approximately 500 people call an open gutter their makeshift waste disposal site. For Amagbeto, a resident of 2 decades, it's a daily reminder of their struggles with waste management and the stinging neglect by government. He speaks of an absence of proper waste management infrastructure with a heavy heart.
Everybody put
rubbish in the gutter. Even I'm fighting with people here. They come and shit here all the time. Every night they came and put over dinner for giraffe. Shai, alaba enye nuika edenafu enyo na nwa. Tamaro na dogo na po ma taga dunu. When you watch the forward there, you can watch it there. The Kaya people, they always come there. Over na Masan and the other side. Nova New Kata Kocho Malatai. Their pampers, their everything, they dump it to the gutter there. They don't have any place to dump it. So they just put it inside. So for me to the Kukuna government, I do agree no labadi. Le area ma no be no saver, no jagbagba. But waji gbelonu akona amoyokata le area. Umaga globo yo hogala osio. No bo yo hogala osia afudege.
Let's get onto the phone now and speak to Theodore Viwoto, who is the comms director at Partners of Nature. Theodore, if you can hear me, what's your assessment of this sanitation crisis, especially in Accra, on the back of a series, Filth exhibition? Theodore, I lost your initial statements. Could you start over?
Yeah, I must admit that we as citizens, please can you hear me?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So I must say that we as citizens have lived up to our expectations as responsible people for our environment. Keeping the environment clean is a coordinated activity, something we all have to be conscious of and ensure is in order. So we can talk of we, the citizens, not acknowledging the fact that our environment is our responsibility. We, the government or people in power too, must also admit that they've not been responsible in terms of ensuring that the right mechanisms are in place to drive in comprehensively and generally. I must say that we all have failed in our fight against a filthy environment. That is my initial observation I will make.
Well, as it stands now, it's nearly impossible that President Akufo-Addo's promise to turn Accra into the cleanest city is something that we can see happening soon. What do you think is the way forward? Because this sanitation crisis doesn't seem to be going anywhere. How do we move on from here?
I think the citizens will have to take this thing on their own because let's be honest with ourselves. Your environment affects you first before getting to our president. Or we know that the Jubilee House is a very clean environment. So what do we do as a people? I think the first thing to do is to see ourselves as a community affected by our immediate environment. Let's take the initial, or let's take the initiative in the basket somewhere and he is put right at a particular spot. And we call on government, show them evidence of our effort so they can come in and do the right thing. But if we all want to wait on government or the state, we are going to fail. Let's start from that grassroots level. Let's be responsible for our immediate environment. And then now let's have the voice to call on whoever is in charge of our money to, for instance, we know of sanitation left here, keeping the environment clean. If we start on our note, putting things right by our, and be confident enough to call on government to do that. It's to start to the top. If it should come from the top, let's be honest, that's been till now, we are not going to see anything.
Do you think that we need a legal action to tackle the sanitation crisis? I mean, I remember back when I was much younger, we had something called tangas, whether it's town council or town guide. And these people will go around and ensure that you kept town council, but we, call them tankas. And they would go around and ensure that our environment was kept clean. All these people, these initiatives have been, it appears we lost Theodore. I was just making a point about bringing back the town council and the activities that initially, when I was younger, helped to keep our environments clean. But let's move on. Perhaps we'll bring back Theodore subsequently. So away from that, 266 containers fully loaded with antiretroviral drugs, insecticide-treated nets, rapid diagnostic test kits, cartridges and others remain exposed to the weather at Tema Port for over a year, as government expects donors to cover the $3.6 million clearance cost. Civil society organizations in HIV, TB and malaria say the delay in clearing the much-needed health commodities is adversely affecting healthcare delivery in the country. But we'll bring you the details after this break. Stay with me. Now, let me bring you back that story of 266 containers fully loaded with antiretroviral drugs, insecticide-treated nets, rapid diagnostic tests, cartridges and others that remain exposed to the weather at the Tema Port. Take a look.
We, the leadership of the coalition of CSO networks in HIV, TB, and malaria, wish to bring to the attention of the media and the general public our intention to present a petition to the presidency and parliament on the continued lockup of Global Fund donated health commodities at Tema Port. The commodities in reference, valued at more than $40 million, have been wasting away at the port since May 2023. They comprise antiretrovirals for treatment of HIV, medications for treatment of TB, ACTs for treatment of malaria, insecticide-treated nets, rapid diagnostic test kits, and gene expert cartridges, among others. The situation has currently created stockouts in health facilities across the country, leading to needless loss of lives and frustration for health workers. The essence of our intended action, therefore, is to draw the attention of the presidency and parliament to the looming public health emergency if no immediate actions are taken on the matter. As we speak, we are not sure of the storage conditions of the commodities. We are not sure whether these delicate commodities are being sheltered under the right temperatures or they are being exposed to the vagaries of the weather. Our greatest fears are that if no action is taken now, by the time the medications are cleared, some may have expired or may no longer be safe for human consumption.
That was Ernest Amwabing Otson, president of the Ghana HIV and AIDS Network, and he's joining us on phone for more. Mr. Ernest Amwabing, so far, how does the situation stand?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. Yesterday, before the presser, we had the new acting Commissioner General for the GRA visiting our office and sympathizing with the situation and expressing her commitment to ensuring that the goods are cleared within maximum 14 days. So that is the response we have gotten so far from government.
Okay, so despite that assurance, why are you still threatening to protest on April 17th?
Yes, we've had previous assurances from the Ministry of Health and all those assurances did not materialize. So that is why we have intended to go on the demonstration. And yesterday, we actually sent a letter to the Accra Regional Police Command informing them of our intention. And they have invited us for a meeting this afternoon. We'll be meeting them to map the routes that we'll be using to send our petition to the presidency and then also to Parliament. Because the issues actually go beyond the commodities. There are some commitments that we have with the Global Fund, and we have not respected all those commitments. Also, there is an ECOWAS levy, AU levy, and COVID-19 levy, which have to be waived off for commodities that are coming from donors. So we need to meet with the presidency, we need to meet with Parliament, so that we can have a discussion on this particular matter.
Right. Please hold for me. We've also been joined by Hotoji Alexander Roosevelt, who is MP for Central Tongu and a member of Parliament Health Committee. Now, has the committee taken notice of this, and what's the plan from the committee to get this resolved? Hello? I think you have to unmute,
Hello?
please. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. I can't hear you.
Okay, I was asking,
I can't hear you.
I think we're having challenges with the network, so we'll move on and bring you. Are you still on the line?
Yeah.
Right. I was asking, what's
Hello?
Parliament? Yes.
Yes, I'm on the line.
Great. I was asking, what's Parliament's move to make this situation go away?
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you to your listeners. We have just heard it, and we are on research too. But I strongly believe that we'll be with the leadership of my committee too. This situation is a very bad one because we experienced same with Gavi. Our less than 20% commitment could not be met last year, leading to shortage of childhood vaccines. And we are having same with Global Fund too. And that is not good for the country. My fear is that with this particular situation, Global Fund may be losing that confidence in the country. And that will not help us in any way. Do you get me right?
Yes, I'm with you. Go on.
So I think there is a need for us to protect the image of this country. There is a need for us as Parliament to make sure that we liaise with the presidency through our chairman and all the revenue collection agencies for them to ensure that we clear these goods so that we will remain in the good books of Global Fund. Other than that, Ghana's image will be dragged into the mud. But that's notwithstanding, let me say here that the 40 million that we are talking about, the $40 million that we are talking about, that is just for logistics. There are other things that we benefit from the Global Fund. Because in total, we always get not less than $100 million from Global Fund. So if we are joking with the logistics now, the situation will be that we'll be losing that. And Ghana is not better positioned to take its own destiny into its own hand. That is my fear. The relationship with Global Fund now will be something else. What I know is that because the procurement was made by the Global Fund itself, people are not happy with it. And I believe that is the cause of this food dragging situation in the country. But we must live beyond our personal interest. We must live beyond our parochial interest and take the country's interest to heart. I strongly believe, because we experienced this thing with the Gavi and this one with Global Fund. This is a vote of no confidence in the current leadership. Because to restore the relationship with Global Fund now, there should be a new leadership altogether. There should be a new leadership altogether. So this must go to Ghanaians. These people have lost track. They have lost track and everything is basta. So there is a need for them to bring in new leadership, and not necessarily any leadership, but a leadership that has done it before. A leadership that was in power, and we never had this kind of untold stories before. That is the kind of leadership that must be brought back to Ghana now.
So, Mr. Otoji, how soon can we resolve this on the back of everything that you've said? What are some timelines we can yeah? Can you give us some timelines?
From the president of HIV/AIDS Network, they said they met with the new Commissioner General, and she has given some kind of assurance. My sister, this has been the situation over the years. I want to urge the press to follow this up religiously to see if it will be done.
All right, thank you.
And because we are also on break, I don't know what we can do as a committee, but I know my chairman is listening to this. Let us take the proactive measures to ensure that government clears the image of Ghana.
All right, thank you, Mr. Otoji. Now, Ernest Amwabeng Otson, if you're still on the line, how do you respond to these assertions by Mr. Otoji?
Well, the whole situation is really embarrassing for the country because I'm not aware of any other country that has experienced this kind of situation. So it's indeed a very embarrassing one for our country. And so we are urging government to expeditiously make sure that we bring this matter to a very quick end.
All right. Thank you so much, Ernest Amwabeng Otson, who is the president of Ghana HIV and AIDS Network. But away from that, the Peasants Farmers Association is asking its members to reject any genetically modified seeds that will be supplied by any company, individual or government. This call follows an announcement that the Ghana National Biosafety Authority had approved the commercialization of 14 novel genetically modified products comprising 8 maize and 6 soybean products. Now, the Peasant Farmers Association says it is disappointed and condemns government's interest in promoting the agenda of multinational seed companies. Bismarck Norte speaks for the group. He joins us now. Bismarck, why raise these issues now?
Yeah, hello and good morning to your viewers and listeners. Well, it's not a matter of we raising the issue now. If you check your records and your media reportage, this is an issue that peasant farmers and our allies have been raising ever since the Biosafety Act was passed in around 2015 or so, and then recently when the Plant Variety Protection Act was passed. And in all this development, we've been very clear that the urge for Ghana to pass this act was a way of allowing for the introduction of GMOs into the country. And we needed to do a lot of effort to resist it. But apparently, it appears that the states will always win when you go on that tangent. So this is not the first time that we are calling on this. Just that we needed to release this particular statement coming from the development where about some weeks ago, we saw publications to the effect that the Biosafety Authority have allowed for the commercialization of these 14 GM varieties.
Is this for the Planting for Food and Jobs Phase 2? Is that correct?
Well, in the statement, it's not directly linked, so we can't say that for sure. But I think that it's important to get clarity from the Ministry for Food and Agric. You know, we've already started registration under the PSD 2.0 across the country. And it is important for farmers to know which kind of input they'll be getting under the program. So for us, it is an issue for government and the Ministry of Food and Agric to come out clearly to let us know that the released DMCs are not part of the program under the PSD 2.0. Because for now, we are calling on all our members to reject any form of GMOCs that are being pushed into the system.
All right. Thank you so much, Bismarck Notte, who speaks for the group. Moving on, let's do some other stories now. Time is running out for the Ghana Cocoa Board as the European Union says its transition period for the implementation of the controversial traceability policy will elapse at the end of this year. This means that from start of next year, Ghana's main cash crop, cocoa, cannot be exported into Europe unless evidence is provided that the Ghanaian cocoa is not sourced from recently deforested land or contributes to forest degradation. Currently, over 60% in Ghana finds its way into European markets, but this will no longer be the case.
Cocoa is a major source of foreign exchange for the Republic of Ghana. However, the increasing demand for this cash crop over the years has resulted in the use of more deforested land to feed the supply chain. This situation has prompted the European Union to pass its traceability policy. According to this new regulation, any cocoa product entering the European market should not be sourced from recently deforested land or contribute to forest degradation. After 2 years of running what it terms a transition period, the EU says it is time for action and the need to enforce environmental sustainability.
So the discussions, they were ongoing for quite some time because we adopted legislation 2 years ago, and 2 years were given for a transition period. So now we're aiming to have the legislation running since the beginning of the next year.
The EU Commission is this week sending a high-level delegation led by its Commissioner for Environment, Oceans and Fisheries to Ghana, which is one of the world's largest producers of cocoa.
Because this legislation is applicable to all. It's not aiming at any country or any region in the world. It's applicable to EU member states, the same as the countries outside the EU. What it tackles is the commodities. Commodities that do have the biggest impact as regards the deforestation around the globe. That our consumption pattern is one of the reasons that drives deforestation. So therefore, this step by the EU is taking responsibility for our consumption pattern and ensuring that the supply chains through which certain commodities reach the EU, that they are free of deforestation.
Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire are the two world largest producers of cocoa. There's in fact a framework that guides our trade, the Ghana Cocoa Initiative. I was speaking to the CEO a couple of weeks back, and he appears to identify two major factors for which we're seeing this high level of disruptions within the supply chain. First off, the issue about other markets or third states paying higher prices to these cocoa farmers. Don't you feel that if we apply the standards, these countries might take advantage of the situation and then we'll see smuggling into other markets other than the EU?
On contrary, I think, sustainability pays off. And consumers, they are aware very well that they want to have a product that comes from the areas that are not associated with child labor abuses, that are not associated with the deforestation. So therefore, those certified goods, they of course are much more expensive in the market, but they also don't have a negative impact, especially on producers, largest chocolate producers or other products. Well, even if that certain product will go to different market first, and then it would try to enter EU, it would still need to be traced back to its origin. Because the information that is needed to provide is very simple. It's the geolocation data of the farmland. So this is something that doesn't move. And for us, the most important is the...
In the wake of the implementation of this new policy, the EU has come under intense criticism for placing the livelihood of smallholder farmers in jeopardy. But the multilateral body says the reverse is the case, as it is urging the regulator, Coco Board, to endeavor to meet this new standard.
First of all, I think we should not shift it onto the farmers, because the farmers, they do their job. And for example, with the structure of agriculture that you have here in Ghana, where you have the Coco Board, they are an umbrella organization who has the ownership over the farmland. So they know what's going on in which farmland, for how many years, when that farm was established. Right. And I'm pretty sure all that data they do have, and all they need is to share it with operators who export goods to other countries. That's it. So I don't think so we need to, put any of sort of additional pressure on the farmers.
Now, in today's edition of our Ramadan series, we take you to the Techiman municipality, where some Muslims in the area say they are observing this year's Ramadan fasting in the midst of heat wave and high cost of living. They say the rising cost of food items, coupled with rising temperature, is making this year's Ramadan the most difficult in recent years. And Sabit has more in this report.
Ramadan, the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, was made compulsory since the year 624 AD, with Muslims all over the world urged to abstain from eating, drinking, smoking and sex from sunrise to sunset for 29 or 30 days. The benefits of fasting are enormous, ranging from religious to health benefits. With over 2 billion Muslims across the world observing this religious obligation, Muslims in Ghana would have to mark this year's Ramadan under food scarcity and other accompanying hardship, with the economy at its worst point ever. We spoke with some Muslims in the Techiman municipality to have their take on the rising prices of food and other essential commodities and how this has affected this year's Ramadan. Cindy Shaban described this year's Ramadan as a dry one.
Looking at this year's Ramadan, it's more like a throwback or a flashback to the COVID time. Yeah, it's not easy. Even the food, watermelon, the first day of Ramadan, I got to just taste one. And the one who bought it said, there's a small watermelon. She bought it for 70 cedis. 70 cedis over the service. So that's the only fruit that I took.
Swadik Shisu Karamo also shares same sentiment with Cindy Shaban. He says the economic hardships has affected all, including politicians who in the past used to donate sugar and other food items to be distributed to the needy.
Gaskiya ne Ramadan shekaran gari ba easy bane. Ana zafi kuma gashi ba kudi. Ka gane ya sa yanzu kaya ma yi tsada sai shi ma mutane biya. Kana sanin guri bai da kyau har 'yan siyasa ma bin ya shafe su. Kana sanin har yanzu ba wanda zai ce maga sikirin da wani ya bashi, ban sani ba zuwa gobe ko bayan gobe, amma previous years dai ana bayarwa kafin wanga lokaci.
Farhad Jamal also tells me that aside the financial crisis, the heat, the unbearable heat in the system, which is caused by the rising temperatures as a result of climate change, makes the observance of the month-long fast even much more difficult.
Well, I can't say this Ramadan is the worst. It's a little bit okay, but it's very hard. Aside financial problems, the weather is very hot. That's making the fasting very hard for us.
She adds that if not for the mandatory aspect of the month of Ramadan, many Muslims would have opted not to observe due to the current situation.
The weather is too hot. You can't do your regular routines because of the weather. You have to stay back home. Even seeing, if not because the fasting is compulsory for all Muslims, had it been it's a nafila or something else, a lot will not do it this year because the fasting is very hard, seriously.
Abdurrauf Hashim has been fasting for over 2 decades now. He says the unbearable heat makes it difficult for the fasting person, adding that this year's fast is one of the most difficult.
I feel we the actually the Namian send a show see woman dear, and actually the Nkuye, and yes, a shepherd dear, Master Judge, and come with the minting. But I don't know, I say I am assuming to know anything. This only 1 year, and Santina, in year and years, and yes, I dear. I think I know dear. I feel we dear, actually adding.
Hudumusa on his part says the heat coupled with the terrible economic situation makes this year's Ramadan a much more strenuous one.
Fasting. I never saw
Even though a much more difficult task, these Muslims slowly but surely are into the third and final half of the month with the sole hope of reaping the numerous benefits this month comes with. Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Tichman.
Well, at this point, we'll break, and when we return, there's business news. Stay with us.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Daryl Kwao. The Ghana Enterprise Agency is part of moves to enhance the growth of micro, small, and medium enterprises. And the BizBox project has strengthened its partnership with the Food and Drugs Authority with some equipment to aid in its operations. Speaking to journalists after the presentation, Chief Executive Kosiyanke Aye said the collaboration seeks to expand support for small businesses in the cosmetics, food, and medical sectors. Yes, more.
In addition to the ICT equipment, the Ghana Enterprises Agency presented a 4-wheel drive vehicle to aid in commuting officials of the FDA to get micro businesses licensed and registered across the country. The move is expected to enhance the registration process for small businesses under the BizBox project, which is being implemented by the Ghana Enterprises Agency and the MasterCard Foundation. According to the Chief Executive Officer for the GEA, Kosiyanke Aye, the two agencies will work together to harness the potential in the Ghanaian small and medium enterprises as the engine of growth.
Down to over 100 plus people with over 1,000 products being certified. Going forward, we want to expand and extend this because, as you are aware, we have the Business in a Box project that seeks to support 250,000 people find access to work or entrepreneurship avenues. Through this intervention, we seek to do more for those who are in the food, the medical, and also soap, sanitation sector. And the Food and Drugs Authority is very critical in this. In order to be able to do this, this partnership has been brought together to improve the numbers, increase the numbers, and make ourselves more accessible to the Ghanaian populace.
Chief Executive Officer for the Food and Drugs Authority, Mimi Delise Darkun, disclosed that the organization is working to have all businesses registered at their various districts without traveling to the regional capital or Accra.
The main aim was also the president has an industrialization agenda, and we wanted to be part of it. So we have an industrial support department in most of our departments, our cosmetic department and our food department in the organization. And we've been working with GEA for quite a while, and we have about 3,000, almost 4,000 of these industries that are licensed with us today. And today we are here to receive a vehicle, a printer, a projector to help us with this training and to be able to get us not just in the regions but also into the districts. They have these business advisory centers in the districts. And we want to put our national service people. This year we've taken about 900 national service people. And what we're going to do is that we're going to put them in these advisory centers. So you don't have to come to a region. You can have an FDA rep in the advisory centers, and then that person will show you when, straight from your districts, wherever you are, you go there, you know the requirements, they do the training with you, and the facilities can be licensed quicker.
The long-standing partnership between the Ghana Enterprises Agency and the Food and Drugs Authority highlights the importance of supporting the authority and accrediting MSMEs through the Ghana Enterprises Agency and the MasterCard Foundation's Business in a Box project.
We head next to the Ashanti region, where the Asafo market is undergoing redevelopment to meet demands of a modern market. The Reconstruction project, which will be delivered in the next 6 months, will ensure the market is fire resilient and equipped with modern safety and security equipment. An inferno that swept through the market affected hundreds of stores, necessitating the measures against future occurrence. Anaya Ojima visited the market and comes through with this report.
The reconstruction was expected to start in January 2024, but was delayed due to relocation of traders at the market. At the time of our visit, most of the traders had vacated the shops as construction workers remove roofing of the old structure.
The contractors are working hard to make sure that they finish up the work as promising in the contract. And we're also going to make sure we monitor from day one to the end of the contract term. Fortunately for us, the consultants and the supervisors are from the engineering department of the assembly, and I personally make sure that, yes, the work goes on as we want it.
In 2019, many shops were burnt after fire swept through the market, negatively impacting on traders. According to the fire service report, improving firefighting mechanisms would be necessary in preventing future incidents. Kumasi Mayor Sam Pine explained the market reconstruction will cater for these and other security issues.
All the wooden structures within the place will be out, entrances and exits for fire vehicles, tenders, and the rest. Then we're also going to have a space for permanent staff of the National Fire Service to be there. As much as that, we're also going to have a place for our electrical department of the assembly to be also housed in that facility. Again, we've gotten some, we are almost getting a funding from an international partner to have a beautiful police post or police station built around the same area.
Some traders have welcomed the decision to reconstruct the market.
As you can see, they've already started work on the project, and we are sure that with regards to the time frame that we've so far given to us as in completing the project, we are very sure of completion so that we can come back and bounce back into business.
For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
And that's it for business. The news returns after this break.
And that's how we're wrapping up for today's Joy News Desk. My name is Sweetie Abochi. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com to stay updated. Thank you for watching.